Now I'm unmuted. Welcome everyone to the Nick De La Torre show. De La Torre. Why am I saying with this weird Anglo accent? Come on. You got to teach the people how to say the name.
It's true. Oh,
guys,
the music's still playing.
We're a little all over the place today. It has been a little bit of a technical whirlwind. You might see that I'm a little flushed, maybe sweating a little. Ethan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine.
Amazing. I'm so glad that you're doing well.
I'm glad that you're alive. So, every time that I wake up and, think to myself, is Nick alive today? Is his mind functioning today? Sometimes it doesn't, so
wait
it's
a
good to know. Well, sleep
gosh.
deprivation, food deprivation, it happens to the best of us.
That's fair.
Somehow it always happens to you of all of us. So,
well, I live a crazy, crazy life. The life that God has given me of an evangelist, and it just is what it is. There's no escaping destiny.
It's true. It's true.
I do want to do a quick check on the audio.
Okay. I can hear you on your mic.
Okay, it seems like we have clean audio.
Okay. Well,
rock on. Yeah, I'm not hearing. We had like a little.
We had a buzz.
hiss.
I'm sure you people heard. I was muting it and unmuting it. We were trying to send you a signal. It was to follow the Catholic Church and to live your life the best saint that you can be.
Yeah.
Clearly, I don't think it worked, but who knows? Maybe you'll tell me the difference, right?
If you
maybe
can decode the high frequency shrilly thing that was happening.
Exactly. Yes.
There's a secret
a
evangelical
secret
message in there.
Yes.
Okay.
Calling us
so
all higher.
Today we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. One of
true.
the primary things here is there's a story about this guy out of Japan.
Yep.
It's
the first thing on the docket. So
that was the first thing on the docket. Okay.
Yes, so.
Yeah. Well, actually, why don't we just play this video real quick?
Okay.
And actually, wait. I don't have my headphone.
Wow, plugged in.
Extension cable.
Uh-oh. Well, Well, I don't know where it is, and are you sure you're not sitting on it?
Yeah, I don't think it's over here.
Okay.
Give us 1 second, y'all. Actually, Ethan, entertain the people while I find it.
Okay. Well, let's see. Today we switched to Spectrum, and that I wasn't here for most of that, and I wasn't in the studio while I was doing that, so I was at home doing it, and it was fun. It was exciting. The guy was very nice. I didn't get his name, which I'm kind of disappointed by, but that's okay. I mean, I was just, I was helping him. I had to cut down a tree. It was pretty fun.
What a man.
And yeah, because he was climbing through the tree, like to get to our phone line and stuff like that. And I had to cut it, and it was awful, but I survived anyways. And Watchtower is screaming my name, and I am to the rescue. And I agree, Watchtower. Watchtower, I love you. You're awesome, and I can't wait to, maybe see you at some point. Who knows?
Yeah, Watchtower should show up here
true,
at some point for one of these.
Yeah. So
I'm ready to go. By the way,
was fun. Okay, did you find it?
Oh yeah, I found it. It was off stage.
Oh, nice.
I had to go on an epic.
Did you
journey.
like my story about the Spectrum guy?
There was a bridge troll I had to conquer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was pretty aggressive.
Okay.
So today's first story,
yes.
It's kind of the headline of today's live stream. Transgenderism was only the beginning, and
we'll talk about that later too. But
okay, brilliant. Yeah, so that's gonna come back a couple times during the stream.
Correct.
But the important thing here, before we get into this, is I don't want to be dismissive about the fact that when we're discussing topics like this, these are human beings in question.
This is
right?
true.
And so true. even for us with the headline, the title, transgenderism was only the beginning. I do believe that the woke ideology, the transgender movement of normalization and even beyond normalization, indoctrination, I do believe that it is intrinsically evil and disordered, and is only going to lead to more pain and more suffering. But to the person that is wrestling with some of these ideas for themselves, I have only love. Yep. And I think that's, I don't want to speak for you, Ethan, but I feel like that's a fair.
I get it. Yes. Yeah. It's very good to make sure that everybody knows that we are not doing this because we dislike the man. We're doing this because of what he's doing and how it scares us, really. I mean, I don't know. It terrifies me.
It is rather
somebody
horrifying.
Would go and do this. But are you?
I'm ready.
Are you ready for this
Let's play
magical thing? Okay, here we go. So keep in mind, this is a real live man in this suit.
Good boy! Amazing! One more time? Yeah, cool, buddy. Thank you. Oh, there is another little doggy.
Dog's like, please give me away.
He's scared.
Yeah, just a bit.
Yeah, no kidding, he's scared.
I don't know if this one shows it, but when he like waves,
Oh, now he's shy.
yeah, there it goes. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Oh man.
Okay, this is horrifying.
Yeah, it really is.
It really is so disturbing and so weird. And I'm going to get into kind of what it is about watching this that evokes this feeling of, oh, what is happening? Why is this so weird? Why is this creepy looking? And it is like a scientific thing. So this is something that's called the uncanny valley.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And so even let's say that there was not a human being inside of this costume. Let's say it was an animatronic or whatever.
Yep.
Seeing the same thing would be still very weird and creepy because it mostly looks like a dog.
Yep.
And but it just falls short of looking like a dog enough that it messes with the brain, where the brain is expecting to see something that looks a certain way, but it's just off. And so, for example, the movie Sonic the Hedgehog,
Oh yeah.
when the first trailer dropped for Sonic the Hedgehog, the way that the artists depicted Sonic really tapped into this uncanny valley reaction in the brain, in the subconscious. And it really irked people because they made it too human-like and too realistic, where they were like, if Sonic was a real thing that existed, what would it look like in real life? And that's not what people wanted. People wanted a real world movie, a live action movie with Sonic the Hedgehog's character design.
I don't even think they really wanted people to be involved in the movie, but that's a separate issue, you know.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that, but all I know is it was so irksome to so many people that they literally went back to the drawing board. The movie was done.
Yeah, correct.
And they literally went way back into the movie and completely changed the art design for Sonic to mimic more directly what had been done in the cartoon and in the games.
Yeah.
And that was important because it would have been awful to sit and watch. And so this is why when you're watching something like Toy Story, where the visuals are extraordinary, there's still this cartoonification that happens to the character design, the facial design, so that it doesn't look too real, but still feels like there's like depth and dimension to it. And so when we're seeing this dog that's not a real dog, even the dogs are freaked out by it. They're not convincing the dogs. The dogs are experiencing this uncanny valley. And to a child, how weird would that look? For me as a grown-up, it looked weird. Let us know in the comments, what did you think about the
man
costume
in the dog costume?
So that's step one, the uncanny valley. So here's a definition of it. It's a term used to describe the relationship between the human-like appearance of a robotic object and the emotional response it evokes. And that's actually from some kind of a robotic website thing. So that's actually not a full, I literally just looked it up in 2 seconds here. But it really isn't just about, here, let's try this from a psychology website. The uncanny valley is a theory in aesthetics suggesting a humanoid object appearing almost, but not exactly like a real human.
Which is what you were saying.
Right. Can evoke feelings of eeriness or revulsion rather than familiarity due to the object's proximity in reality, yet noticeable imperfections. And this is also what you get. And again, I love you if you are trans, or if you know someone who's trans, or if you love someone who's trans. I affirm their dignity as a human person. But that same reaction is like 9 out of 10 times what you get with most transitioned people. There's just something that's off. And it really, it tells you something about the true nature of a thing. You know, I'm not the most handsome man in the world. But like, you don't look at me and want to, you know, like
Puke.
what the
Oh,
exactly
I
the
mean, that's a little
descriptions
extra,
in
but-
this, the revulsion, the eeriness. You don't get that from me. You may think like, you know, Nick's vibe, Nick's aesthetic, the bald head, the beard. You
I'm
know,
not a fan.
it's not my jam. But there he is.
Yeah.
It's not that same thing. And so actually, let me make one correction to that.
Mhm.
This beard
Yeah.
is a problem.
It's true.
It does evoke some of those things for Alina, and so by next week's live stream, it will be gone,
Is
if
it
not sooner.
Are you actually serious?
Yeah, I'm not going to go like straight shave on the face because that just looks and feels
Wow.
weird to me. But I will go back to like the stubble, you know, shadow look.
Okay, Interesting.
It's not that big of a deal. It's not even that long of a beard, but it's too long for Alina, so
the tea.
it's
Look at
gonna
the
be
tea.
gone.
It's being spilled right here.
yeah.
You get it here first, folks.
And so Watchtower says that explains why having humans play androids in movies doesn't evoke the uncanny valley sensation, because it is a human playing a humanoid character. That's 100% correct.
Yep.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, I don't want to go off topic too much here, but did you see the latest demonstration of the Tesla androids?
I have not.
Oh my gosh, they're moving along so fast.
Interesting.
It's crazy. Yeah, we should actually bring that into this coming next week's episode,
We can do that.
next week's live stream.
Sorry.
Okay, so all right, so there's a couple layers to this video with the dog. One that I just talked through is the uncanny valley, and how it really isn't just about the fact that it's a dog. Like, you really do experience that, even if you authentically love the person in front of you that is trans. There is this uncanny valley that you have to kind of be intentional and disciplined to repress those feelings in order to love the person. But those feelings are there because there's something that is just slightly off. If I were to dress as a woman, it would not be convincing. If I were to wear makeup, it would not be convincing. If I took hormones, like, there would still be something about the way that I look that would be off. There's no getting around that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, what are your thoughts about all that, Ethan?
Yeah, I mean, I was part of the reason why I didn't want to go and see the Barbie film was because there is a trans actor in it. And like, I don't know, it's very, especially with having talked to other people about it, like, you know, lying to their face, like, that is like, we are just, what is it, like, I mean, not co-conspirators, but like, we are basically allowing their sin and accepting it by by saying whoever they're, you know, whatever, transition. But they're basically, the reason why I brought up Barbie was because the trailer, that was where I saw it, was they had that actor in it. And I instantly knew. And I actually just showed it to Colleen the other day, and she was like, I couldn't quite tell. And I'm like, no, but I think the biggest thing is like, really, men can really tell the difference, because obviously we know what other men act like and, like, you know, look like and sound like. And so I know when a man's voice is being pitched, you know, so like, I can definitely hear that was a man, you know. Especially when they screamed. Like, there was a moment in the trailer when they screamed, I instantly knew, and I was like, I don't want to see this anymore, you know.
Yeah.
And because I, you know, like you said, like, I love every single person that is doing, like, you know, that is doing this to themselves, whatever. Like, I affirm you in, you know, your personhood, and I love you dearly. And really was something we'll showcase later. But like, this is harmful. Like, you are harming yourself by doing this.
Right.
And I don't, you know, like pain, and I wouldn't want that on my worst enemy, you know? So yeah, those are just a couple of my thoughts. I don't know if that was connected at all, but
No, totally. And I want to just also highlight that from my perspective, having a trans actor in the Barbie movie, to me, I would want to emphasize less, because the way you framed that was that you don't want to support the sin.
Yeah.
I would, the sin that I specifically would not want to support, because everyone has a journey, everyone's figuring it out.
Yeah.
You know, and that trans person, I pray to God that they find the healing that they need, because they're not finding it in dressing like the opposite gender or wearing makeup or whatever it is they're doing in either direction. Because I'm not sure what character it is or what actor it is, but the sin that I would want to not support within that is the normalization and indoctrination, putting this in a kids movie where
Right.
you have a bunch of little girls and their moms going to watch this movie,
Yeah.
or maybe a very brave dad going to watch this movie with
Yeah.
his little girl, whatever. And just to put these things in the kid's face, that you're not asking the parents permission. Hey, how do you feel? Like, literally the implication behind the way it's being done, where there's so little regard for the parents,
Yeah.
is like, these are not your kids.
Yeah.
These are our kids, society's kids.
Right.
These are Hollywood's kids, and we will parent them however we want to. We will
Right.
show them whatever immoral or unnatural thing we want to show them, and we will normalize it, and you have no say in it. And when you do that, that to me is the sin. There's a criminal component of that. There's a
I mean, it was like when they were treating the dog like he was a dog.
yes,
You know, like it's not a dog, it's a guy in a costume. You
Yeah.
know, like that's like you are. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Alina in the chat says, "I hate the beard." In case anyone was,
Which is
in case anyone didn't believe that I was telling the truth about that. It's probably why she's not here today.
she's protesting.
She's protesting.
Nice. Silent
she's
protest.
She's on a strike.
Nice.
She's on the Nick de la Torre show live stream strike.
I don't blame her.
I get it. You know what? I want to know from anyone watching. Let us know in the comments. Should I keep the beard?
Oh my gosh. Nothing they're gonna say. You will be murdered by Alina. I will see the obituary in the newspaper and I'm like, oh, he didn't shave his beard.
You're
What was he
probably right.
thinking? And so like don't support his beard, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, don't support his beard.
Yep. But the other layer I wanted to touch on with this dog story is we have allowed this to happen by allowing so many other things to happen. Like, there's this snowballing effect.
Yeah.
And the more something becomes normal, the more they have to push the envelope. I mean, it's true with my kids. It's like, you know, if someone saw the way that I parent, and I parent very lovingly, my kids love me. I can have a difficult, challenging dialogue with one of my daughters, for example, and then she comes back from the timeout and just wants to cuddle with me, and she just loves me. And kids find security in the guardrails that we provide to them, even when they don't like the guardrails. It makes them feel safe. It makes them feel like they have direction. It makes them feel protected.
Yeah.
And so what we're doing as a society right now is removing those guardrails and basically turning it into a free for all. Well, there's like a hair floating in the air here. It's not one of my hairs.
It's not your hair. Yeah.
Maybe it's a beard hair.
Oh, there we go.
But Joe Maxey says it's worth the risk to keep the beard.
Apparently, it's worth the risk of dying.
Alina says boo. But in removing the guardrails and removing the rules of no, you aren't the other gender, just flat out saying it, and entertaining these behaviors, we are we're creating a foundation where the envelope has to keep getting pushed a little further and a little further and a little further. And let's end that there. We have other things we want to talk about, but that's my take on it.
Yes, it is very unfortunate.
So now there's a dude that paid $14,000 to $16,000 to have a costume made.
To have a costume made, yeah.
Because he is now a dog.
Yes, yeah, apparently. So fun things, yeah. So this next one is a new TikTok trend. It's a joke. It's this video I'm about to show is it might be a little dark humor. So
Okay.
So maybe like, keep your kids, corralled, and like, I'm sure you probably don't have your kids around listening to this anyways, but if
Earmuffs.
they were,
Earmuffs for the parents. Yeah.
I thought it was funny. And I'm gonna preface this because I didn't want to watch a long video about what this trend is because it sickens. It's another Uncanny Valley type situation, not as strong.
Okay.
But so that's why it was fitting for this.
Okay.
But I hate TikTok. I don't like it. I don't. Yeah. Anyways, so there's a trend. I could keep going about that. There's a trend right now where streamers. So apparently you can stream on TikTok, which I did not also know. So you can do that, and you can, or there are streamers who are acting like NPCs. And for those who don't know, it is non-playable character. It's a video game term. Yeah. And so, so you know this. Is that why you're reacting?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it.
I had the unfortunate pleasure, not really, of just even see. I didn't hear them. I just like saw them acting and stuff. And the end of this short that I'm about to show, that is a joke. It showcases that. That. At the end, so I'm just gonna play
wait,
it.
before we go into it, for the viewing audience that is not super into video games or whatever, could you kind of illustrate this?
Yes, a non-playable character is, so like if you are in, let's say you're playing an open world game, so
like Skyrim.
So it's a game where typically you can just go around and do whatever, right? And then you'll go and like talk to a character that is like, if you're a knight and you need to go and talk to the king. The king in that game, if you're a knight, the king is called a non-playable character or an NPC. Right. And so this trend was grown about not by like characters like the king. There are also other characters when you're like walking around town that are just like casually like going about their business. Like they've been scripted to go to like, go to this newsstand every like 30 minutes, whatever.
Probably the most famous NPC of recent years is from Skyrim, the soldier that got shot in, like he's retelling a story of when he got shot in the knee.
I was a traveler like you until I got until there was an arrow put in my knee or something like that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Yes, that is the most, if you have heard about NPCs, that is probably the quote or something like that. Typically like Oblivion, Skyrim, Elder Scrolls NPCs are the ones that are the most notable because of how crazy like anecdotal they are.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I didn't know Austin Mass was a gamer. Why does he know about this meme? Austin Mass commented, "I used to be an adventurer like you."
Yes, Yeah. I don't think he knows about this, what we're about to show. But
all right, so this
briefly,
is a TikTok trend where people are pretending to be
an NPC, and I'll explain it afterwards. Because we're just gonna get a clip. I didn't even want to see this, but I saw this because of the joke, and it was very funny, and that's why I wanted to share it.
Okay.
Somewhat more lighthearted. So here we go.
Drakestall the Third, eat your dinner.
Oh, Father, I'm sick of always eating ice cream. Why can't we have real food for dinner?
You watch your tone when you're talking about ice cream, young man.
My friends at Eden say they get to have real food, like white rhino meat.
Ice cream is the most real food. It is what our family's legacy is built on.
What a stupid legacy!
I will not have you disrespect your great-grandmother's life's work. Through sheer will and dedication, she built this family into one of the most powerful, wealthiest dynasties in all the United States of Amazon Prime.
What did she even do?
Ice cream so good. Oh, take it, Ian. You got me feeling like a queen, huh? Rah, rah, rah. Slay, huh? Slay, huh?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the joke here is really about the last part, right?
Yes,
so
correct.
all of that, the guy,
all of the like ice cream eating,
right? All
and
of that is
joke
not
about Amazon Prime United States. All that's a lead up to his great grandmother.
Like if that lady doing that TikTok was the original, like the creator of this dynasty that their family is living out generations later.
Yes.
Oh my
One
gosh.
with abuse, mind you. Yeah. So that end where she was like doing like I'm not even gonna react it. I'm not gonna do it.
You're not gonna reenact it for us. You're not gonna
it.
be an NPC
like,
for us.
Slay. Like it's just like so every single time. So what they do. So what I like if I was watching, which I would never, but if I was, I would give TikTok money to be able to then send to them like a coin or some kind. I barely like touched on it because I was already like, I was already sickened. I was like, my stomach was hurting the entire time reading this. But they'll send the coin to the streamer and it'll be an emoji. So like typical, like, like the laughing face, the yellow laughing face that you'll see. They'll send that, and that emoji corresponds to a different action that they're supposed to do.
Yep.
And because of how fast, like she was doing like the same thing over and over and over again, that's how fast the emojis are going. So she basically has to like keep up with doing it over and over and over again.
Yeah, and the principle is that if you're playing a video game and you're having a dialogue with a character, depending on what you say, it might trigger a different reaction from the non-playable character, the NPC. So they're essentially doing that. They're playing out interchange,
right?
Over TikTok. I was going to say in real life, but
well, I mean, yeah, unfortunately,
yeah. What an atrocity! And so this is, a lot of these TikTok trends, whether it's TikTok or some other platform, is really not relevant to the issue of these trends that because before TikTok was big, wasn't it? There was the Tide challenge where kids were being idiots and eating those Tide Pods.
Yeah.
Like there's always these trends that are lessening lessening our dignity as a human race. Like if aliens came in and saw any of these things, they'd be like, what the hell is wrong with these
I know,
people?
right?
Let's go back. Actually,
Man.
definitely let's destroy their planet. It's really dumb. And so what I had seen about this without having actually seen one of these was that there is a rise in kids that are getting into observing these. Like they're literally losing the ability to communicate correctly, like have human interactions and have dialogue, because this is the kind of crap that they're absorbing. We got a few comments here. So Austin says
he only played a couple of games.
Funniest meme he's ever seen. Life hack: you can use Tide Pods to clean your laundry.
Yeah. so when the Tide Pod things was happening, people were eating them, but fun fact, they can be used for laundry.
That's so freaking funny. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That was just to whet our senses into this portrayal. But but people have even been saying that, like, basically, like, the reason why this is so big is because people are living out their fantasies of like being able to like tell a woman what to do.
I'm sure that's
it's
true.
just like what, like, man, it's just depressing, like I just get depressed every time I think about or see any of this. Anyways, Nick, is there something that you would like to tell the people about, though, that there's going to be something happening soon? You should just do that right now. I think you should do that.
Come to think of it, Ethan, there does happen to be a thing I want to mention.
Really?
Yeah. So on August 19th, we are having an event right here at Awaken Theater with Deacon Harold Burke Sivers. And the event is called Building a Civilization of Love. The subtitle is a Catholic
response to racism.
Or a Catholic response to racism. Thank you.
Yep.
And Deacon Harold is just an amazing guy. He used to be a police chief and he used to offer trainings to the FBI. And now he's just this Catholic deacon that goes around the world preaching. This event is based on one of his books that is about to come out, and this will be his 7th published book on a major Catholic publisher. He is truly extraordinary, and you don't want to miss this.
Completely agree.
August 19th. So it's coming up right around the corner. And actually, if any of you live in the area, I have a bunch of flyers that I would love people to help to put those up. Austin, if we can get some, Austin and Joe, if you're still with us, would love to get some Knights of Columbus putting up flyers around town. So yeah, get in touch with me. But listen, there's a ticket price because everything that we offer for free of media through Awaken Catholic, all the different shows we produce, we offer it all for free, but we have to provide for the ministry somehow. We got to pay Ethan the extraordinary salary that we pay him. And so anyways, I'm joking about that, but all of us here are here because we love the work we're doing and we love the mission of Awaken Catholic. But anyways, all of this to say, if you want to come but you can't afford a ticket, let us know. Send an email to support@awakencatholic.org because it's more important to us for you to be able to come. Yeah. If you can afford a ticket or multiple tickets to invite other people, then please do that because it'll help offset the tickets that we need to comp for people. Yep. Watchtower says, Ethan, master of ceremonies, master of subtle segue.
Yeah.
Oh, that's segue. Duh. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen segue spelled out.
Segue. That was always my joke, is that I would just say segue, like, hey, let me segue, and then people would be like, what are you talking about? And I'd be like, well, it's fine. So yeah, I'm a cool guy like that.
I love it.
Thanks, Dad.
And then Dan Bush says, video killed the radio star, but social media killed the ability to communicate.
And I completely agree.
Absolutely.
Yep. It's unfortunate.
Thanks for that, Dan.
And he sent that through Facebook.
Very
so look
inspirational.
At that. But thank you for being here anyways.
Yes. All right. So what do you got queued up for us?
Yes. So this is an article that we found. And I want to preface this with saying, thank goodness that I am not Canadian. I am glad that I am not. And I am happy that I am not Canadian. Nick, go ahead. Showcase to the people What does that say in front of you?
I'm so scared right now. I have no idea what we're going to read. Schools get heavy-handed against pride backlash. 2 provinces have now warned school boards that a failure to properly observe pride could be illegal. Of course. The exclusion or erasure of 2SLGBTQ plus.
I have never heard that.
Yeah,
I
that must
don't
be a
know.
Canadian thing.
It's got to be.
They just got to keep pushing. They got to one up the U.S. on their wokeness.
Yeah.
Identities from educational materials constitutes a form of discrimination. It added all schools must comply with the Human Rights Code and demonstrate they are creating safe, welcoming, and inclusive environments for our students and staff.
Now, my question is I guess I might not have done enough research, but I'm curious as to how are the students getting, like, if it's illegal, then what happens? Like, who's getting punished? How do they get punished? I couldn't find that out. I guess I didn't do enough research. But the fact that it was even could be illegal, the failure to properly observe pride could be illegal. It's a form of discrimination.
Yeah. So it seems to me, contextually, with what little bit I have here to base context on, it seems like they're talking about, like, from an administration standpoint and from the faculty standpoint, if they aren't complying, if they aren't bolstering the pride agenda, that they are going to be held liable for that.
Interesting.
That's what I'm taking away from this.
I think that you are probably correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And so again, it's forced speech. I mean, Canada basically handed Jordan Peterson fame and fortune on a platter. Because this is exactly the kind of stuff that got him famous, because he stood up and he was like, no, you're not going to force me. You're not going to compel me to say anything. And again, we're enshrining a distortion of all that is good, true, and beautiful. We're enshrining a distortion of God's creation. If I were to lose a limb, and somebody were to look at me, if I literally had a gaping wound, like gushing blood, my arm is on the ground, if someone were to look at me and say, yeah, that's totally normal, rather than rushing to my aid, helping me to cauterize the wound, helping me to get to a hospital, maybe trying to salvage my arm, I don't know, I'm not a doctor. But the point is, like, if anyone were to see me in that situation and do anything other than address the wound and help me, they must hate me.
Mm-hmm.
You would have to hate somebody so much, such a vile hatred, to not help someone like that with a very literal wound.
Yeah.
And what we're saying here is, no, you're supposed to stand there and not rush to someone's aid, but rather applaud them for the bravery of not having an arm.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering to yourself, how are you making that correlation? How are you drawing that comparison? Well, because the rightly ordered human being, the healthy human being, has 2 arms. The rightly ordered human being in mind, spirit, and body is male or female. The rightly ordered, healthy human being is male or female anatomically and spiritually and mentally. If there is a disconnect there, it is not indicative of like some design, like it's not like God wanted you to have this cognitive dissonance, but rather it's indicative of wounds. The world is wounded. We literally broke the universe with the fall of man. None of all of this pain and suffering, none of this was the way that it was designed. We did this to ourselves. But then also wounds that have to do with, your masculinity or femininity, like, what's your relationship like with your father? What's your relationship like with your mother? What's your relationship like with your peers going through grade school? There are so many things that we have to navigate to be truly objective in trying to actually help a person.
Yeah.
And what we should not be doing is pumping hormones, chemically castrating and physically anatomically castrating children. We should not be doing that. It is evil. It is for the love of all that is good and holy. It is evil, and we have to call evil for what it is. The people were made good. Everyone has immense dignity. Even someone who is trans has immense dignity. but their dignity, they're trying to find their dignity because they don't see it. They're trying to find it by latching on to this social contagion or responding to a very deep-seated wound that's related to trauma. And that's what we're not willing to say loudly enough.
Yeah.
What's up, Ethan?
What? Oh, no, I was just going to say that, like, yes, absolutely. 100% agree. And that, like, there's another article that we're not going to go too deep into because there is a video that I want us to watch after what you had just said.
Okay.
But I'm going to touch on the article. The article had said that there was a policy change. So this was in its original form, it asked for parental consent. Here, hold on, I'll read it. In its original form, it asked for parental consent in order to formally change students' names or pronouns, but made it mandatory to use a student's preferred name if it is not possible to get permission from a parent. And then it had a quote about how he doesn't think it's too surprising that parents want to know what their kids are up to in school. But I want to jump to this video because it just kind of reaffirms what you are saying.
Okay.
Basically, the person in it, she had transitioned when she was younger, when she was a child, and she detransitioned out. And this is just a little moment of her in front of the House Judiciary Committee.
And before you press play on that, anyone watching, if you could press the like button and maybe even share this live stream on your own feed, whether it's on Facebook or Twitter, Instagram, whatever, just if you could do us that favor, press the like button, hit share, make sure you're subscribed to the Awakened Catholic YouTube channel and on Facebook. These are things that can really go a long way, and I keep forgetting to ask for that. Yeah.
Yes.
So anyways, all right, let's hit it.
All right.
Your powerful testimony, especially on your 19th birthday, and that has been very helpful to us.
Thank you, sir.
I want to acknowledge what you said earlier, tearfully. It was appropriate. Everyone here, as you said, our hearts go out to everybody. The families, everybody affected. We're trying to strike the right balance, and we do believe Congress has a role here. And I appreciate your testimony for providing evidence of that. And I wanted to ask you first about your parents' involvement in your transition process, and then ask you about some of the hormone treatments you underwent, because I think all that's important. First, were you or your parents informed of the long-term effects of the procedures and hormones that you were subjected to?
We had consent forms with a list of some of the side effects, and we did do consultations where we did speak about some of them, but it was in very vague terms. And I mean, as a child, it was a lot for me to process because, I mean, I was perfectly healthy, and children tend to think that they're invincible, that nothing can get them. And with all these things being listed, it was hard to know which of these I would experience. And most of the side effects that I experienced, most of the ones that I'm experiencing today, actually, were not even listed on these forms, so I had no idea. And children just don't know what permanence is because they've only been in the world for so many years.
It's an important legal principle that we have informed consent, fully informed consent for life-altering medical procedures. And are you then suggesting that it was not really full informed consent?
I mean, no matter how much information they would have given me, as a child, I just would not have been able to consent to this. And my parents were required to sign off on these, but it was under duress. I don't think it was really consent. It was coercion. They were given the false dichotomy of either a child transitions or she dies.
Wow.
But transition almost killed me.
Wow.
Yeah. So it didn't even matter. Like that's what's crazy to me is that, like, so this is a person that went through their transition, right? And now fully regrets it. She actually later says that they actually ask her, like, do you think that the American health system has failed you? And she says, yes, every step of the way. And like to see this, and she, you know, I mean, I watched way more of this. It's actually really interesting. I'll make sure to, I don't think it's in the comments, or it's, I don't think it's in the description yet, but we will make sure it's in there later, because I firmly say that you should go and watch this whole thing, her whole testimony and what they talk about. Like, this is stuff that is actively happening in our like governments and in our courts, and it's thank goodness to this woman for telling about this
Yep.
and you know, being brave enough to go in front of, you know, the world.
Can you imagine how awful that would have to be? Like
Yeah.
this thing that was so pivotal in your life that has to do with the deepest, most vulnerable parts of yourself, and going on as a 19-year-old.
Yep.
Television, going before
birthday.
Congress on her birthday. Like,
Yep.
what a I just want to applaud.
Yep.
What's her name?
Actually, thank you to Retro Clips. He actually said that Chloe Cole is her name. She actually appeared on the Lila Rose podcast, which is interesting. But yes, it's Chloe Cole. That is her name. Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah. I just want to
yeah.
thank. I mean, she'll probably never see this, but I
Yep.
just want to thank Chloe Cole for her bravery, doing something that is so important. Yeah.
I mean,
wow.
yeah, I'm sure she's ostracized by all her friends.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and even probably her family. Like, you know,
Certainly.
like I'm sure this has been probably one of the most. I mean, no wonder she's doing this because of how awful it is. I mean, apparently she still has side effects. And be it that there were side effects that they were not even on the list.
Yeah.
You know, like, so why?
Well, they wouldn't be on the list because all of this we're
It's all
literally
experimenting.
doing science
Yeah.
experiments on kids.
humans. Yep.
On kids.
Yeah, and on children. Yeah.
Yeah.
Specifically. Yeah.
Oh, this is just freaking heart wrenching.
Yeah.
And I want to thank her for doing that. In reference to what we got into to lead into this with the Canadian laws or whatever.
Yeah.
Austin Mass says, let's not act like this isn't coming to most American states as well.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, I think it kind of already is. I mean, I remember quite a bit ago, one of Peter Range's episodes, back when he was still, you know, on here, he had talked about how, you know, there were students being like yelled at by teachers for, you know, saying things against, you know, LGBTQ, you know, all that stuff. And so it's already happening, unfortunately, in the public sphere. So
it is.
And as we've showcased here before, pride parades and things like that, you know, it's just awful.
Yeah.
And here, you know.
Okay, we have a hair over 10 minutes left because I have a meeting that I have to get to after the stream.
I mean, even though this is an awful thing to end on.
Well, we have a hair over 10 minutes left.
Okay. All right.
So I want to reiterate to everyone, please like the stream, share the stream with others on your other platforms, and make sure you're subscribed. Any of that is super helpful. Okay. What do we got next here?
Well, in case we had time left, which it seems we do. So this is just a couple of our episodes that we have been that we have released. This one is quite a while back, but I feel like this is still very pertinent to our discussion today. And it's pretty much just, you know, about leadership and how we can be leaders like Chloe Cole in things that are difficult. You know, so in a moment here, I will share the screen to be giving it the video. So,
all right,
here we go.
And we believe, we're convinced that every lay person is called to be a leader in the church. This is something that Catholics don't immediately think of. Lay Catholics, your average lay Catholic, doesn't immediately think of him or herself as a leader. And there are good reasons for that. We have been taught that we must be humble, that we're followers of Christ, and that he's our pastor, right? So why would we think of ourselves as leaders? But if we part from that, understanding that we are followers of Christ, then we must, as followers of Christ, we must lead others to Christ. So we are called to be leaders. We're called to lead to Christ.
And this isn't even some abstract, ambiguous idea that you came up with. This is well, first of all, our Lord tells us to do this kind of stuff. Our Lord tells us to be leaders, essentially, in the context of what you're describing. The Catechism, it commands, it says that every baptized Christian has a conviction, has a call, has an obligation, a responsibility to bring others to Christ, to bring others to God. And so many of us live our lives in the pews waiting for the priest to do stuff, you know?
Man, who is that guy? He's pretty
I don't
smart.
know. He's pretty smart. Yeah, I was impressed listening to him. No, but yeah, I think that I think a big takeaway from today is that there are big scary things out there, but it requires us to not be afraid to cast it out, cast it to the cross, and to pick up the cross and carry it. Because if we aren't the ones carrying it, then who is going to?
Yeah.
Like you said, Christ, like past Nick said, Christ calls us to this, and here's to say it's not easy, right? None of this is going to be easy, because if it was, we'd already won,
Yeah.
which we have won,
Yeah.
thanks be to God that, Christ sacrificed himself for us, that we may be saved. But, this is a daily battle so that we can save others too, that Christ can work through us to save others.
Yeah, and I think that I love what you just said, and I think what we can take away from this on a practical level is, what are the ways in which in your life God is calling you to a more profound presence as a leader?
Yeah.
So in your own household, are you being the leader that you're supposed to be in your household? Okay. Likely, because it's probably true for all of us, probably not yet, because we're all still a work in progress, and we're all still a work in progress in most areas of our lives. So within your household, Lord, what are the ways in which you're calling me to a more profound presence of leadership? As a leader, how are you calling me forward? What are you calling me to be more bold about? And then out of your household, Watchtower just said, watching Nick watch Nick is also the uncanny valley.
Yeah, it was true, because I was like, when I heard your I thought that was you.
Well, it was the first time.
Okay. And
no,
then
I don't even know what my
that's
what's
great. Like,
happening.
it was crazy. Yeah. Anyways, keep going.
No, but even beyond that, in your workplace, what are the ways in which God is challenging you and inviting you to be more bold as a leader? That doesn't mean becoming an asshole.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is being the fullest version of, working towards becoming the fullest version of yourself. And that inherently, as a baptized Christian, means some amount of leadership, some form of leadership.
Yep.
So, what invitation are you meant to extend? What are the ways in which God is calling you to respond to this thing or that thing that is said at the workspace?
Yep.
And then at the grocery store, how are you being called to be bold? Like, society wants to squash us. Society wants us to become smaller because we're easier to control. And we also don't get in each other's way. We don't challenge each other. The smaller we are, the easier it is to manipulate us. We are called to greatness, right? So the gospel does not call us to comfort. It calls us to greatness. In the words of the late Pope Saint, he's not a saint yet, Pope Benedict XVI.
Yeah.
And so we need to, I love that invocation from Pope Benedict XVI, that God does not call us to comfort. He calls us to greatness. Comfort says, stay small, stay out of the way, stay unnoticed, because it's safe.
Don't speak up.
Yes. God calls us, no, don't stay safe. Be bold and serve me. Pick up your cross and follow me. Be a leader, right?
Yeah.
So, Christ was a leader.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
And as Christians, that the word Christian means little Christ.
Yep.
So we as little Christs are also meant to embody that as well. Yeah,
Yep.
I love that.
I would like to end my part of the podcast with a prayer. So here we go. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord Jesus, reveal to me, to us, the true riches of your kingdom. Help me to set my heart on you alone as the treasure beyond compare with any other. Free my heart of any inordinate desires or attachment to other things, that I may freely give to you all that I have in joy and gratitude for all that you have given to me. May I always find joy and delight in your presence. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen. That was beautiful, Ethan. Thank you.
Yes.
What prayer is that?
It was sent to me by a friend, so
Beautiful.
I couldn't tell you the context.
All right. No, that's great. I love it. That was really nice. In fact, could we maybe include that in the description?
Sure. Yeah.
Let's toss that into the description.
Absolutely.
After the stream.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. So, guys, I have a meeting I got to get to, but before I go, I just want to invite you two things I want you to know. One, that event on August 19th with Deacon Harold Berksivers. Please help us to spread the word. If you live in the area, contact us, because I have flyers and I would love help putting them up around town, around even the surrounding towns. So to learn more about the event or to get tickets, visit events.awakencatholic.org, or just go to awakencatholic.org and there's a big banner there, and help us to spread the word. And again, if you cannot afford tickets or someone you know cannot afford tickets, please contact us. I would love to comp the tickets, because it's more important to us that you get here to the event. But you got to register. We are getting registrations, and there are not a ton of space. There's not a ton of space in here, so register soon. And I really want to encourage you, if you can afford tickets, please buy tickets, because it'll help us offset what we have to comp. And if you're able to, buy tickets for others as well. And then finally, if you want to support the work we're doing here, please visit awakencatholic.org/donate to become a member of the patron community, and become part of why all of this is possible. We really need to build a robust and solid foundation for the economics of doing this ministry. And huge thank you to everyone that's already a part of the Awaken Nation and making contributions. All right, everybody. You got anything else, Ethan?
Nope. We're good.
All right. Before you go, everyone, I just need you to know that Jesus loves you. Peace.